What is up, Dynasty fam? Welcome to Market Watch Wednesday. We're going to be talking a lot of players, so make sure you stay tapped in. So, starting off with the rookies, we're starting with the running backs, and we're going to go with Bucky Irving. He is the biggest riser so far this week on Keep Trade Cut. RB39 currently, he's up 45 spots, and he had a good week one, promising week one for Bucky Irving. Gets 9 carries for 62 yards. 6.89 yards per carry, caught 2 of his 3 targets for 14 yards. Rashad White with 15 carries only gets 31 yards on the ground, 2.07 yards per carry. So Bucky looks better on the ground this game than Rashad White, but Rashad White on the receiving game gets 6 receptions for 6 targets, 74 yards. He runs 22 routes to Bucky's 8, but still good that Bucky got to get 8 routes in there. So definitely like Bucky week one, promising start. Next, we're going to go into Blake Corum, and he's up 11 spots. And he suited out, but he did not play. Pretty much was a pass-heavy game script. Right now, he's RB28 on Keep Trade Cut. And we got to be patient with Blake Corum. It was a very tough first game versus the Lions. And pretty much McVay just went with the guy he trusted, let Ronnie Rivers get out there and get some action. So I think next week we have Arizona coming up for the Rams, and I think we'll see some Blake Corum next week. So be patient for Blake Corum. Better days ahead, I believe. Now we have at number 3, Jalen Wright. I was excited. He was one of our buy lows before the season started. So was Bucky Irving also, if you haven't seen that video. But Jalen Wright comes out healthy scratch. They go with Jeff Wilson. They let him suit up there. And Wilson even got some touches. He got 5 touches that game one. But Mostert is banged up, guys. Thought it was a shoulder, but it's looking like a chest injury. He didn't practice, as well as ETN did not practice. So right now they're playing already in 2 days or 1 day from now. They have a game Thursday night versus Buffalo. If either of those guys do not go, I think we're going to see some Jalen Wright to suit up, and I think we can see some action hopefully on Thursday night for Jalen Wright. Now at number 4, we have Trey Benson. He's the RB22 right now. He is down 9 spots. And DeMarcado plays over him. That could be why. DeMarcado gets 13 snaps to Trey Benson's 8. And he gets 3 carries for 13 yards, also gets a reception in there for 5 yards. So limited in action versus the Bills in that week one. Now at number 5, Audric Esme is somebody that I think is undervalued in the Dynasty community. It didn't seem like Peyton was very high on Javonte Williams in the offseason. There was rumors about him being cut and all that. But this week, McLaughlin gets a majority of the work. Esme got 2 carries, got 14 yards, so pretty good, but he did have a costly fumble. We'll see if he gets action again or if that's going to put him to the bench. So we'll see. Hopefully we can get another shot for Esme. And at number 6, we have Jonathan Brooks, just down 1 spot. I just put him on there because he's just an interesting player to look at right now. I know he's RB13 on Keep Trade Cut. And as terrible as Carolina looks, and we were excited about Chuba Hubbard getting some work and all that, and it doesn't seem like it matters in that offense. So right now I'm a little bit worried about Brooks coming off of IR, right, coming off of injury and joining this terrible Carolina team. So just something to think about, something to monitor. So now moving on, going to go into our rookie wide receivers, and this was the exciting part of week one, was looking at these rookie wide receivers. And we're going to start off with Xavier Worthy. He played Thursday night, and he started us out with a bang. Wide receiver 17 right now. He is up 28 spots. He's one of the biggest risers for the rookie wide receivers, besides one other one that we'll talk about later in the bottom there. But Xavier Worthy runs the same amount of routes as Rashee Rice. And they both run 24 routes. He only earns 3 targets. So some people were kind of complaining about that, right? Not sustainable. Three targets, gets a carry, but he exploded with production. He goes 2 for 47 and gets a TD on his lone carry as well. Takes it to the house, 21-yard rushing TD. So right now you have Marquise Brown was not in the lineup. So people are talking about maybe, the volume and worried about that. But I think that he's going to get incorporated a little bit more. If he's making plays like this with Patty Mahomes, I think they're going to try and get him the ball a little bit more. And also if someone is worried about Marquise Brown coming back, you had Justin Watson ran 12 routes, Juju ran 9, and also you had Sky Moore running 6. So they all were involved. So if You have Marquise Brown coming back. I think it would eat into more of those guys versus Xavier Worthy. So I think Xavier Worthy is safe right now. Definitely love me some Xavier Worthy. He was also on our rookie buy video before the season starts. So Worthy's opportunities should be fine. Like I said, when Marquise Brown returns. And coming in at number 2, guys, the wide receiver 32 right now, only up 3 spots, but this was one of the most, I'll say this was an impressive week 1 for Ladd McConkey. He has a 28% target share, which leads the Chargers in week 1. 5 receptions for 39 yards and a TD. He's a wide receiver 19 with 14.9 fantasy points per game. So a mid wide receiver 2 on his week 1 debut with Justin Herbert. So definitely like that for Ladd McConkey. One of the duds right here, you have Marvin Harrison, currently the wide receiver 5. And I know a lot of people are talking a little bit negative about Marvin Harrison. Right, looked like he wasn't running hard out there on some of his routes. And Greg Dortch is getting some hype right now. Greg Dortch led them in week 1 with 8 targets, but Marvin Harrison only receives 3 targets, but he leads the team in routes run. So I definitely like the opportunity. 36 routes run. He was also missed on a few opportunities that I think could definitely have changed his stat line drastically. So Marvin Harrison, be patient, right? And I think better days obviously are ahead for Marvin Harrison. Now moving on to the next one right here, we have Keon Coleman, wide receiver 34. He's up 4 spots right now on Keep Trade Cut. Definitely like the week 1 performance from Keon Coleman. He also leads Buffalo in routes run and also in targets with 5 targets. And he uses those 4 receptions to get 51 yards. It looked a little bit sluggish, right? The offense looked a little bit sluggish for Buffalo, but Keon Coleman definitely promising up-and-coming wide receiver at wide receiver 34. At number 5, Brian Thomas also was another great performance. Wide receiver 20. He's up 24 spots from that week 1, and he brought in all 4 of his targets, so he went 4 for 47, so super efficient right there. And then he gets a touchdown, right, and 1 less route than Christian Kirk in game 1, so definitely promising. And there's also a nice little move that he had. It was Jetpack Galileo posted it on the Twitter where he burns by Jalen Ramsey, gets open, and for the touchdown, gets a PI. But that was another big play that was taken away from him. But we definitely like to see the rookie taking it to Jalen Ramsey early on already. And at number 6, we have Rome Odunze, wide receiver 18. He's down 7 spots. And really the Bears, whoa. Caleb Williams and all that, the Bears, it was not good. Caleb Williams throws for under 100 yards. But you like to see he runs more routes than Keenan Allen, 28 to Keenan Allen's 26, but he only drew 3 targets. And one of the only catch he had was a wild play, like a busted play. But Keenan Allen gets 8 targets, and Williams looked terrible. Like I said, only 93 yards. But I think better days will be ahead for Odunze. Hopefully they figure it out really soon. At number 7, we have Malik Neighbors, the wide receiver 8 overall, and he's down 3 spots. And the promising thing about Malik Neighbors, right, besides Daniel Jones, he looked horrible, but Malik Neighbors goes 50 routes for the Giants. So he ran every single route for the Giants. So gets 7 targets, and he gets 5 receptions for 66 yards, a wide receiver 29. So wide receiver 3 finish in week 1. Wando Robinson led them in targets with 12. He went 6 for 44, also got a carry, but definitely a good start to the season for Malik Neighbors, even tied to Daniel Jones. At number 8, we have Luke McCaffrey. He is the wide receiver 64 on Keep Trade Cut. He is up 24 spots. And really with Luke McCaffrey, it was good that he was on the field, right? He ran the second most routes behind McLaurin with 24, and he gets 3 targets. Didn't do much, but you still like to see that he's in there getting some opportunity. Hopefully some production will follow. Good to see that they trust the rookie already in week 1. At number 9, we have the Patriots. We've got both Polk and Baker. I didn't even put Baker's right here, but because he didn't even suit out. But we have Polk, wide receiver 28 at +5. So he's up 5 spots. And really, if you just kind of believe in Drake May, you may want to buy into Jalen Polk. I know Jacoby Brissett barely threw for over 123 yards or something like that. Polk gets a 54% snap share in there. Doesn't get a target, but room to grow in opportunity. Maybe if you, like I said, if you believe in Drake May, good to see the rookie on the field already. At number 10, this is actually the biggest riser from the rookie wide receivers that we looked at. And it is Jalen McMillan from the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. He is the wide receiver 53 right now on Keep Trade Cut. He goes up 35 spots, and definitely a good debut for Jalen McMillan. Somebody to keep your eye on, probably on a taxi somewhere. But he ran the most routes for the Bucs with 29. It was like one more, I think, than Mike Evans. He gets 3 targets. Also, with those 3 targets, he does manage to pull in a TD. So only 1 reception, but he gets a TD out of it. So I think he's really just interesting because he could be one of the better wide receiver handcuffs in Dynasty football right now. That's just kind of interesting from these rookies. Now, the last player, I don't even know how to say his last name. I'll say Devon, maybe Vele. But this dude from the Broncos, he came out, he got some buzz in training camp. There was someone that they were saying that Sean Payton liked him, liked what he saw, his effort, and he's really an older rookie. He's 26 years old, so he's really old for a rookie. But 6'4", 203 pounds. He is big and athletic, 4'7", 36-inch vert. And pretty much the reason they got rid of Tim Patrick. Also, you have Troy Franklin doesn't even suit out because of this guy, right? So suiting out over Troy Franklin, who a lot of people liked in Dynasty. And he earns 8 targets, gets 20% target share in week 1 there with the Broncos. He runs 12 less routes than Josh Reynolds. So Josh Reynolds was kind of the wide receiver 2 in routes run. But in that, he earns 8 targets. So just the same amount of targets as Josh Reynolds. So you like to see that. And then also he caught all 8 of his targets. So definitely like to see that for the rookie in week 1. Definitely keep your eye on him. If he is on your waiver wire, he's at 52% roster, I believe. So someone that you should scoop up if he is on your waiver wire. So now we're going to move into our quarterbacks and our tight ends. Starting off with Brock Bowers, the tight end 3 currently. And it was a good week 1 for Bowers. He leads the Raiders in targets with 7, goes 6 for 58 for the tight end 3, I believe, so far with 11.8 fantasy points. So solid start for the rookie Brock Bowers. At number 2, we have Ben Sinnott, tight end 15. He's up 8 spots. We had Zach Ertz out there, runs 24 of the 38 routes, earning 4 targets. Ben Sinnott only plays 13 snaps, only runs 3 routes in this game, so a little bit concerning maybe for Ben Sinnott, but it's still early, guys, something to monitor. And Jatavian Sanders, I have a little asterisk there because I think he is, one of the most undervalued tight ends from the rookie class. He's at tight end 22, still very young, and he's down 8 spots. I know that it's not going to be good this year. It doesn't look like it's going to be pretty, but the good thing for Jatavian Sanders is that he ran the second most routes for the Carolina Panthers with 28. Only 1 target, but still good to see him out there getting some opportunity, learning already, and getting some game time already. Unfortunately, it may not matter this season as the Panthers look pretty bad unless they can improve really quickly. But still like Jatavian Sanders, someone to keep an eye on, maybe a buy low later on in the season. And at number 4, we have Theo Johnson, tight end 28, down 7 spots. He played 87% of the snaps there. And he also ran 39 routes for 4 targets. So good first start for Theo Johnson there in New York. At number 5, we're going to talk about Caleb Williams. He is still really high, guys, the QB6, and it looked terrible for Caleb Williams. Only 93 yards there in Chicago. We'll see, no overreactions yet, but definitely game 1 did not look good for Caleb Williams. JJ McCarthy, I just have him on here because he is an interesting name. I think him being out is kind of good because JJ McCarthy is like his stock can't really move too much. Is these other guys, these other rookies that get thrown in like Bo Nix, who we're going to talk about in a second. You know, Michael Penix, I guess you could talk about also with JJ McCarthy. But these guys that are not in, it's like there's still that hope that these guys could be good. But if you see Bo Nix and these guys come out and they're just game after game stinking it up, really hurts their dynasty stock. So I think Caleb, JJ McCarthy, Michael Penix, these are kind of guys that I am interested in right now. JJ McCarthy is probably one of the ones that I'm interested in the most. You saw Sam Darnold come in, looks great. It looked good first game. Don't want to say great, but looked good first game with the weapons they have there and with Kevin O'Connell. So JJ McCarthy, like I said, is interesting. Just want to add him on there, talk about him, one of the rookie quarterbacks. Michael Penix Jr., QB 22, and he's up 2 spots. Pretty much people already want Michael Penix in there in Atlanta. Cousins look horrible, guys, but he has not played for a while. He did not look comfortable out there. It looked like he was rushing, looked rusty. So if you see some more, and Cousins cannot turn around, cannot bounce back from this injury. We might see Michael Penix a lot sooner than people thought. And at number 8, Bo Nix, we kind of talked about him a little bit. He looked horrible. He's been up 20 spots. It's probably from the training camp and from preseason. He did look good, guys. I was actually going to do a video on undervalued rookies, and he was going to be on there. We'll see. Time will tell. But game 1 definitely looked bad for Bo Nix. 42 attempts, only completes 26 completions, 130 yards, and 2 interceptions for Bo Nix on game 1. Let's see if he can bounce back in game 2. And you have at number 9, Drake May, QB 18. Doesn't move much at all, but interesting to be on here because you have Brissett went 15 for 25 or 14 for 25, 121 yards passing only for Jacoby Brissett, and also does not throw a touchdown, but they did get the win still versus the Bengals. So Drake May right there at QB 18, maybe someone that we might see pretty soon if Jacoby Brissett continues to struggle. And at number 10, we have Jaden Daniels, the man pictured on the slide. And Jaden Daniels, I believe, he's QB9 right now on Keep Trade Cut. He's been up 1 spot. And he was the QB3 on week 1 of fantasy, guys. 25 fantasy points for Jaden Daniels, 17 completions out of 24. So that's a pretty good completion percentage for the rookie. 184 yards passing, and then he gets 16 rushing attempts for 88 yards on the ground. No passing TDs yet, but he does get 2 rushing TDs. So definitely love Jaden Daniels week 1. I started him in my fantasy lineup, got me 25 points. So definitely one of my favorites here from week 1. Now moving into our last one, we're going to talk about some old guys. These are the old vets, guys, for Dynasty right now. And Dynasty stock, one of the biggest risers going to be Jameson Williams. He is wide receiver 35 right now. He's up 25 spots on Keep Trade Cut, and what a great game. What a great start to the season for Jameson Williams. We've been wanting Jameson Williams to get out there, get some opportunity, wanting him healthy. He's had some setbacks past 2 seasons, but we saw him out there, gets an 85% snap share, and he just crushes week 1, leads the team in targets and receptions. He's targeted 9 times, turns that into 5 receptions for 121 yards and a TD. The wide receiver 4 for week 1 with 24.4 fantasy points. Definitely have to love Jameson Williams if he is on your Dynasty rosters. It's looking pretty good right now. Only 23 years old, guys. And Amon-Ra, I want to see a couple more games, but with Jameson Williams, that emergence of Jameson Williams is just interesting, right? Because you had Amon-Ra only got 6 targets caught 3 of those for 13 yards. We'll see if they can both be successful in the offense. I think the Lions are pretty good, but you have Amon-Ra there, you have Laporta there. Just interesting to know. We'll see how this unfolds as the season goes on, and if Jameson Williams stays healthy. Hopefully he does, but great game 1 for Jameson Williams. And at number 2, Drake London. Possibly he's the wide receiver 14 on Keep Trade Cut, only down 2 spots. But Drake London only gets 4 targets, 2 receptions for 15 yards. But, Cousins barely coming back off of that Achilles injury, which is a tough injury to recover from and return from. And then he comes straight out and has to face the Steelers defense. So I'm going to give this one a wash for now, guys. Definitely don't like to see it for London. I know Ray McLeod was the leading receiver there with 6 targets or something like that. But be patient with Drake London, guys. I think he's someone that maybe we could buy low on. If we see Kirk Cousins come back, if he can bounce back and shake some of the rust off. And if he doesn't, we'll probably see Michael Penix, which would probably be an upgrade from a broken down Kirk Cousins. But we'll still get the hopes of, hey, Michael Penix is going to come in and work with Drake London. Maybe that would be a bump up for Drake London. And at number 3, we have Jaden Reed, he's up 13 spots from when we recorded this. Wide receiver 26 overall in Dynasty. Jaden Reed had to be probably one of the biggest or one of the easiest guys that you should have bought in the offseason. Unfortunately, I did not buy much of him, but he comes out wide receiver 1 overall in week 1 on only 5 touches, guys. I know a lot of people are talking about, Worthy only a few touches. Jaden Reed only got 5 also, but no one cares about that. But you got to like just the production there. 5 touches turns that into 33.1 fantasy points. Unfortunately, Jordan Love, guys, got an injury, going to be out a few weeks. Not good in Jayden Reed's favor. Maybe if he has a struggling game in game 2 with Malik Willis, maybe that we can look for an opportunity maybe to acquire him. But for right now, Jayden Reed, man, what an awesome week 1. Wide receiver 1 overall for your fantasy football lineups. And at number 4, we have Chris Olave. Comes out. He's a wide receiver 16 right now on Keep Trade Cut. Down 9 spots, Chris Olave comes out, puts out a dud. Rashid Shaheed leads the wide receivers in targets with 5. He has 3 receptions for 73 yards and a TD. Olave only 2 targets on the night for 11 yards. Kamara also was tied for the most targets with 5. So Kamara had a smash game in this game. The Saints scored. They put up a lot of yards. A little bit concerning that Olave didn't do really anything here. But be patient. Definitely still like Olave. We'll see what happens in game 2. But for now, he is down 9 spots. And at number 5, we have Garrett Wilson. This was a guy that I really, really was trying to acquire. I was excited about Garrett Wilson. I think we can still get him for a good price. Garrett Wilson is the wide receiver 6 overall right now on Keep Trade Cut. He's only up 1 spot, but what is promising is he had a 38% target share in week 1 with Aaron Rodgers, 11 targets. It didn't turn into much production. He was taken. There was that one on the sideline that they took away from him. I don't know if it's in or not. You can say the heel down or the heel up. I don't know if it technically counts as the foot, just the heel, but still very, very promising. I think we're going to have some big games ahead for Garrett Wilson. If you can still acquire him, definitely try and acquire him while you can. I think also Aaron Rodgers is going to get better as the season started. He didn't look too bad in week 1, in my opinion. So Bryce Young is the next player. And Bryce Young was someone that we said to buy, guys. We were saying buy Bryce Young. You know, him and JSN was, we should have put JSN on here. Did not put JSN. We'll talk about him maybe on the next video. But Bryce Young comes out. He is the QB 23 right now. And he is falling down 32 spots. So one of the biggest fallers in week 1. And it looked bad. 161 yards passing, 2 interceptions, only 13 completions for 30 out of 30 attempts, 43.5 completion percentage. Also, Bryce Young had the second worst QBR in week 1 with 10.5 QBR. The worst was Deshaun Watson. Not good to see for Bryce Young in week 1. Does not look like the offense did not look good at all. Didn't even put up a point. So next player going to talk about Nico Collins, wide receiver 12. And this dude is up 12 spots. Definitely a smash first game for Nico Collins. 17.7 fantasy points without a TD. Gets 8 targets. Turns that into 6 receptions for 117 yards. Diggs got the TDs this game, but I think they will come for Nico really soon. Just an awesome, exciting asset to have right now in Dynasty, tied to CJ Stroud. So I think, obviously CJ Stroud is going to support in multiple relevant pass catchers. I love Tank Dell as well, still there. You saw all 3 of them have good games in week 1. At number 8, this was another player that we were screaming at you guys to buy. I think we had a video like in April. He was one of the guys we were saying to buy, and that was Rashee Rice, wide receiver 17 on Keep Trade Cut. He is up 37 spots. I think that's the highest riser for wide receivers there on Keep Trade Cut, and he earns a 33% target share week 1, 7 receptions for 103 yards. This is all in his first sophomore game here. And that is the wide receiver 12 with 17.3 fantasy points, even without a touchdown. So definitely love Rashee Rice. Was someone that you should have been buying. Hopefully you bought him. Another guy that we loved in the offseason was George Pickens, wide receiver 24 right now. He's only up 1 spot. Still young. Pickens had a 33% target share, goes 6 for 85 yards. Definitely like this first game with George Pickens. Dominated there. The targets there in Pittsburgh with Justin Fields, and we get Justin Fields again in week 2 already. So wheels up for George Pickens. Definitely love to see this from his first game. Now, Jaylen Warren right now, RB33, down 21 spots, and it was a rough first game back for Jaylen Warren. He pretty much was not involved at all. 21 carries go to Najee, and Warren only gets 2 carries. Also, Najee runs more routes than him. Najee gets 12 routes to Jaylen Warren 7. So I think it's just something interesting to monitor, right, Jaylen Warren, because he was missed some practice. He was dealing with an injury. So I think this is a little bit fluky. I think he's going to get involved a little bit more. Maybe someone you can buy low on right now. A situation definitely to monitor going forward. Now we're getting into the next player, guys. And also, if you guys are enjoying the video, be sure to give us a like, subscribe, support the channel. Next player we're going to be talking about is going to be Tyjae Spears. This was another guy. This was another, looks like a miss. You can't say it's a miss, right? It's only week one. But Tyjae Spears was another guy that I was saying to buy in the offseason. Didn't believe Tony Pollard was going to come back and bounce back, but Pollard looked good. Right now, Spears is RB25. He's down 9 spots, and Tony Pollard came out and crushed it week one. Went 16 carries. Spears only gets 4 carries in week one. The good thing is Spears runs more routes. He runs 21, but Pollard right behind him was 17. So, like I said, Pollard smashes week one, goes 18 for 82 yards and a touchdown on the ground, gets 3 receptions, only 12 yards for the RB11 on the week with 18.4 fantasy points. So, does not look good early on for Tyjae Spears. Now, the biggest riser overall, guys, this is an insane climb. That is Isaiah Likely. Goes all the way to the tight end 6 on Keep Trade Cut. He's up 80 spots right now. And he came out and crushed it week one. Mark Andrews right now is the tight end 8. Mark Andrews is also down 22 spots. So we'll talk about them together. So Andrews had opportunity, right? He had 38 routes. The only thing is that Likely was very much involved. Likely is almost matches him in routes run. He runs 35 there, and he earns 12 targets. So Likely a 34% target share. Mark Andrews runs more routes, only earns 2 targets there in week one. And Likely goes 9 receptions for 111 yards and a TD. So the promising thing is that Andrews was in there. He was moved around. He ran a lot of routes, got some work in the slot. So good usage for Andrews. I think he could be a buy low for us right now. I think he's going to bounce back. It may not be the same old because you also have Zay Flowers now who is demanding targets in his own right. But I think it's going to be better days ahead for Mark Andrews. Don't see him just getting 2 targets with all the usage of being out there on the field and being a reliable target as well for Lamar Jackson. But Isaiah Likely is definitely not going away, guys. And next player is going to be Kyle Pitts. He is down 7 spots. He is not the tight end 12, guys. He is a tight end 5 on Keep Trade Cut. That is a typo on my part. So, but Kyle Pitts is someone that we were saying we were excited about. Kyle Pitts definitely did not look good week one. He struggles out there, but really, Kirk Cousins struggled. Only 8 fantasy points for Kirk Cousins. He, like I said, did not look comfortable, but you have to like that Pitts ran the same amount of routes as Drake London. He gets 28 routes. He goes 3 for 3, so we were worried about, some people worried about him dropping passes. He catches all 3 of his passes, 26 yards. The TD saves him. At tight end 5, Pitts may be someone that I would not mind shopping around, guys. If someone's thinking that they're buying low on Pitts right now, I would not mind pivoting off of Pitts. We'll see. I think it's going to be better, but at tight end 5, I don't know what he's going to do that's going to increase him from tight end 5 right now. I don't mind moving out on that price already. The opportunity was there, but you also have Bijan running 23 routes. Bijan now earning targets in his own right. Bijan gets 5 targets, so something to monitor. And the last guy is going to be Tank Bigsby. We have him here at the end. He is the highest RB riser, I believe. I didn't see McLaughlin. McLaughlin might be pretty high also, but he is up 43 spots, RB 47 on Keep Trade Cut, and he is a player that we were saying it probably is over for Tank Bigsby. We jumped the gun on it. He was on our time to cut players. I don't remember what our ranking meter was for him, but we were pretty much saying if you can move off from Tank Bigsby, go ahead and do it. He's got a few chances early on as a rookie, fumbled it, then pretty much goes away. Ernest Johnson's earning carries over him, but he comes out and looks really good week one. He ties Travis Etienne with carries in week one with 12. They both get 12 carries, but Tank highly more efficient than Etienne, at least in week one. He gets 73 yards to Etienne's 44 yards. Etienne also with a costly fumble. So good situation to monitor. Definitely a good start for Tank Bigsby in year 2 there in Jacksonville. So that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. Be sure to let me know about all these players, what you think about these players. If there's somebody that I didn't cover in the show and you want my opinion on them for some reason, put them in the comments and I'll be sure and respond. Good luck this week in your week 2 matchups.
Jefferson's got separation, and he's got the